What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and we have some unfortunate news that we are going to be talking about. It's about Matthew Stafford. He is out, and he is dealing with a week-to-week injury. Matthew Stafford, like I said, is dealing with a week-by-week injury, and it's apparently said by Adam Schefter that this could be an injury that just this week where he is out, or it could be 3 weeks. That's what I see the timeline as, 1 week to 3 weeks. They're not exactly sure how long he's going to be out, but as we know, this snaps that huge game streak that Matthew Stafford had of games played in a row for the Detroit Lions. Now, Stafford has been putting this team on his back for over a decade, okay? It's been crazy. He even thought of an idea. He's like, man, you should make a picture. It's like Stafford just laying there, all the coaches just sitting on his back. Because that's basically what it is. This dude has been carrying this team for years, and now he's out with an injury. And I'm not putting a lot on Jeff Driscoll today because he hasn't played much. Okay, he's a young quarterback. He just hasn't played much. He doesn't have a lot of experience. But I am putting it on the rest of the team that they need to go out there and play for Matthew Stafford. Shout out to one of the people that hit me up on Instagram and was like, look, I think the Lions are actually going to play for Stafford today. And they have to. These guys have to go out there and ball. There's no Matthew Stafford. You can't expect him to carry this team and put up 400 passing yards like he did versus the Raiders. No, you can't expect a lot out of a backup quarterback. You're just trying to get by, basically, with them. We don't run the ball very well, and our defense has been horrendous. So what does that equal? Usually a loss. I hope that Jeff Driscoll can play well today, but when it comes to the other sides of the game, like the defensive side of the ball, this team needs to step up, okay? They need to play for their man that is down, this guy that has carried them for years. We're going to learn a lot about Matt Patricia today. We are going to learn a lot about him and his defense. How does his defense look? Because really, it's going to come down to that today. It should be a lower scoring game, especially now that Stafford is out. This defense needs to win the battle, and I want to see what Matt Patricia does. His defense has been terrible. A lot of people are, get rid of Patricia, whether it's at the end of the season or right now. A lot of people are at least on that somehow. Well, he needs to show up today. He needs to have this defense ready to go. These players need to show up. They need to play for him. I'm not too worried about the offense side of the ball, like the receiver and stuff. If they get chances, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, I expect them to still make plays because they're just really, really good players. Veterans like Danny Amendola, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He'll make plays. The running game, I can't expect a lot out of because we just haven't seen it. But this defense needs to play. They need to play their butt off, man. Matthew Stafford has been carrying this team. He's out. He's out. And injuries happen. Sometimes you go down, and then this is maybe sometimes the best time to learn who is Matthew Stafford's backup. Do we have a backup quarterback for Stafford? Is this the future? What is it? And we can learn a lot from today from the back of Matthew Stafford. But we can learn even more about this team and the heart that they show. They need to go out there and play for Matthew Stafford, okay? It is one thing to lose your quarterback. It's another thing to go out there and just give up during the game. They need to go out there and play hard. You are 8 games into the season. They need to play for Matthew Stafford. Forget about the playoffs for a second. Forget about everything else. Go play for him. Go win this dang game, okay? Matthew Stafford has had maybe his best season of all time, at least up to this point. They need to go out there and play for him, okay? This guy is out. He's been carrying this team, like I've said multiple times. He's dealing with a back injury where apparently he has fractured bones in his back. So, yes I said, it's a week-to-week injury. They don't know exactly how long it'll be. It could be just this week. It could be 3 weeks. Either way, they need to go out and play for him. Forget about the wins, forget about the losses. You need to go out and play for Matthew Stafford, this dude that plays for you through everything. All of these players better be ready to go. So I'm really interested to see how this defense performs. I'm interested to see how Matt Patricia's defense plays, knowing that Matthew Stafford's not going to be here, knowing that a lot of pressure is going to be on this defense to stop them. Because if you don't let them score, I think this offense will get you 3 points. We have a lot of weapons. Driscoll's going to have a lot of weapons to play with, and Darrell Bevell is a really good offense coordinator. He'll do what Jeff Driscoll is comfortable with. But it's really important for this defense to basically shut down the Bears, because if you give up 20 points to Chicago and they already have a really good defense that only gives up 18 per game, and you're playing with their backup quarterback on the road, there's a really good chance you're losing this game. You need to hold this team to 1, maybe 2 scores. 10 points at the maximum, in my eyes. I don't think you can let this other team score that much. The Bears cannot go off and score. And that could happen either way, but the only thing was, if they would have scored, 17 like my prediction was, I thought Stafford could still put up 20, okay? It's not the perfect conditions, whatever. I still thought he'd be able to put up 20. Now, without him, I don't know if we can put up 20 points because, one, we don't have a running game. We don't have a running game to rely on. This is why I wanted a stud running back like Melvin Gordon and Kenny Drake. This is why when some of you guys ask me, look, man, why are you all hype about these, free agent running backs or these guys that aren't that talented? It's not that I am so hype about these guys. It's the fact that that's our options. That is our option during the season. We passed on all of our options. That was the wrong move, in my opinion, and it looks more and more like that could be the case. We'll see how this offense performs today, but defensively, we need to make some moves. Okay, we got to play really, really well today. These guys got to go out there and fight, play really hard. I mean, that's really what it comes down to defensively. They need to play really hard, and Matt Patricia needs to adjust. He needs to put them in the right situation to stop this offense. Man-to-man should work today. They don't get a lot of separation. Mitchell Trubisky's wide receivers don't, so that's an opportunity. Your defense is pretty healthy for the most part, at least in the secondary, other than the safety position. Your cornerbacks are good, so you need to shut down this offense, and, offensively, you just kind of have to get by. We don't have that running game. I would have loved to get Melvin Gordon. I would have loved to get those kind of players. And yes, the offensive line is something that you just can't necessarily fix at this time, unless you would have got Trent Williams, which that's kind of a weird situation that's going on over there, let's be honest. But right now, this defense needs to step up. They need to play hard. I want to see this team fight for Matthew Stafford. Like I said, he's week to week. That's really all I have right now. That's all we got. He was an MVP caliber type of quarterback, at least to this point. He was playing for that award. He was playing that well. If the Lions were just better, he'd probably be in first place. We need to see this defense step up. It comes down to Matt Patricia. We're going to learn a lot about Matt Patricia. How much of a genius are you? Are you the head coach? Because a really good defensive coordinator, defensive mind would find a way to stop this team. That way your backup can find a way to get a win. This is not a good offense you're facing. You're not facing the Chiefs offense where you're asked to hold them to 20, because that's not really likely. You're facing the Bears offense. You should be able to hold this team to 10 or less points. We're going to need that today. I'm rooting for you, Jeff. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not going to come in here and be like, oh yeah, it's over, because that's not right. It's not fair to do. Not as my favorite team. I don't think that's fair to do. But that means the rest of the team need to show me some reason to believe, because for me, it's more than this week. Say we get away with the win because they just don't score. Now you're playing the Cowboys. You have to be able to put up some points. So hopefully Stafford is back by then. But this defense, they've been terrible the first half of the season. They need to step it up. But from what we've seen so far, there's no reason to believe that's possible. We got to see it. Matt Patricia, I don't know what else to say. We got to see it. We got to see this defense take the leap, flip that switch. I know I'm rambling, but that's just what I need to see. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. If you guys want to send me any voicemails or messages, definitely do that. We will react to those after the game. If you guys are watching the game and maybe, you're like, oh, I'm mad or something, or right after the game, you're like, here's my feelings, whether we win or lose, you can call that number. When I do my takeaways video, I'll give it some time for calls to come in. When we do my takeaways video, we'll listen to those. It should be a fun time, so definitely do that. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'm out.